Hey there, it's me Eden. Welcome to Crossdressing Adventure Stories. Today I'm going to share with you cross-dressing adventure story called Wife Hypnotized Husband to Wear Women's Dresses, Part 2. So, if you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing and be a part of our inclusive community. Carl nodded. He looked down at himself, and his face reddened in embarrassment. Carl, you know that if it were anyone else I would have to fire you, but you're our top litigator and we need your expertise. You'll answer questions and function in an advisory capacity, but until this is over, the real work we'll be giving you is some low-priority correspondence. If you're going to dress like a secretary, that's how we're going to treat you. Carl nodded. It was about what he expected. Couldn't he work from home? Asked Gloria. We have strict rules against any of our attorneys working from home during the week. Couldn't you make an exception for him? Look at him, Gloria. The man is wearing a pink dress, a slip, pantyhose and high heels and makeup. You don't think we're making an exception already? You don't think this violates the dress code a little? How did the vice president in charge of civil litigation know that Carl was wearing a slip? Carl looked down. Damn. How long had he been sitting there with his slip showing and didn't even notice it? He was going to have to be a lot more careful about that, now that he had to wear dresses every single hour of every day of his life, for who knows how long. Carl, get down to the office right now, and stay there. You know the one. I'll send your secretary down there. We're going to have to start delegating right away. And listen, don't expect anyone to be understanding about this. There's no one in the entire firm who's not going to make fun of you, and I'm not going to tell them they can't. Thank you for not firing me, George. Don't thank me yet, just get down there right now. Don't hang around here. We've got some clients coming in soon. The vice president in charge of civil litigation, who was a fellow Marine, shook his head in wonder. If the corp could see you now, he said. Carl thanked him again, and he and his wife left. As they went out the door, they had to go through a small crowd of people who wanted to know why the hell Carl was dressed like a girl. Carl said not a word to any of them, and they headed back to the stairs. Carl soon found that, as hard as it is to walk up 7 flights of stairs in high heels, walking down 7 flights of stairs in high heels is a lot more frightening and dangerous. He held onto the railing and took them slowly. You see, said Gloria, this isn't gonna be so bad. But why does he care if the clients see you? Gloria, we're a conservative firm, we handle petroleum companies and big tobacco, among others. If it ever gets out that a man who wears dresses and pantyhose and high heels 24 hours a day works for this firm, we could lose clients left and right. I see. Listen, I want you to check with another hypnotist. See if there's any hope for my escape from pantyhose without Dr. Specs. We've got to at least try. Sure. When they got to the small vacant office, Carl sat in a chair and put his throbbing feet up on the desk with his legs crossed. Okay, Gloria. You have to go buy me. He sighed. You have to go buy me some new dresses. And some new lingerie and pantyhose and high heels and, oh, you know what you have to buy me, just go do it. Buy me whatever I need to wear to make those terrible painful stomach cramps go away. You're going to look adorable, she said. Gloria, I don't think any of this is funny. This is going to be humiliating. Oh, you're making too much of this. I'll pick you up tonight. You're going to love wearing dresses. She left before he could say anything. She drove out of the parking garage and found a phone booth, and looked up a hypnotist in the yellow pages. She went to see him without an appointment, and he agreed to see her for a short interview. She explained the situation. The hypnotist nodded and said, "I see. Well, I'm sure you know that Dr. Specs is the only one who can release your husband from the post-hypnotic suggestion, but I wouldn't worry about it. A PHS can usually only last a few days on its own, without reinforcement. A week at the most." "I see," she said. She was holding the bottle of medicine Dr. Specs had given her, to dose her husband. "What's that?" asked the doctor. "This is what Dr. Specs gave me. I put it in my husband's drink, just like he told me to. Could I see it?" She handed it over. He examined it and said, "Where did he get this?" "I don't know. This is a highly experimental psychotropic drug. It hasn't been approved by the FDA. He shouldn't have been using this. The government is conducting experiments with this drug, trying to permanently alter the behavior patterns of rapists and child molesters." "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying that if this was used on your husband, there's every chance that the PHS might be permanent. At least until Dr. Specs can remove it himself." "Oh." He pulled the stopper out of the bottle and poured the drug down the sink. "What did you do that for? You shouldn't have this." "But what if Dr. Specs needs that? To fix up my husband? Wherever he got it, he can get more." Gloria thanked the doctor for his time and left. She felt a little bad about what her husband was going through, so she decided to make it up to him by buying him 24 of the most beautiful, colorful, feminine dresses she could find. She went to the same big and tall dress shop she'd frequented before, and bought him several beautiful chiffon dresses in pink and white and yellow and powder blue, and several floral prints. She bought him low-cut velvet dresses in deep purple and scarlet. She bought him satin dresses in red and blue and pink and white and gold. She bought him silk mini dresses in solid colors and in colorful prints. She bought him pink and white dresses of lace and cashmere. She marveled that so many feminine dresses were available in such large sizes. But maybe large women have even more of a need to feel feminine than other women. Some of the dresses were belted or had a matching sash. But many of them didn't and would need to be taken in a bit at the waist. Which meant that Carl was going to have to model them that night, so she could make a few alterations. And he'd probably complain about having to do that, as well. Why couldn't he just accept that he had to dress like a girl for a while, and stop whining about it? The last dress she bought was a little too frilly to wear to work. But it was so adorable she just couldn't resist it. It was a short pink dress with a ruffled white lace collar, puff sleeves trimmed with white lace, and a full ruffled skirt that floated out over sewn-in petticoats. Carl was going to look so darling. She then went to a department store and bought Carl some more satiny girdles and longline bras in white and black and pink. She bought him some more pantyhose, and some patent leather pumps in white and black and pink and yellow and red. She bought him some purses, and she bought him several wigs, all in the same style and hair color, since he was going to have to wear a wig to bed every night, and even in the shower. She bought him a serape to wear while he was shaving in the morning, to protect his pretty dresses. She brought Carl's new dresses and other apparel home with her, and hung his dresses on his side of the wardrobe. She had to take out several of his suits to make room. She put the suits upstairs in the attic with the other useless things. Then she went to pick up Carl. "How was your day?" she asked Carl as he got in the back seat. "I don't want to talk about it," he said, and threw the blanket over him. Carl had been meeting all day with junior associates, giving away all his projects. He hid in his office, and his secretary wouldn't let anyone in to see him unless they had official business. Many employees showed up just hoping to get a look at him so they could gawk and laugh and make fun of him. Most of the women who came in to see him started out the discussion by looking him over from head to toe, and then laughing like maniacs. Carl would just sigh and look down, and embarrassment would color his face. After that, they usually managed to get through the discussion without laughing, but some of them still had a hard time keeping a straight face. Carl didn't smile. He didn't think any of this was funny. The men who had to come and talk to him were mainly just embarrassed, and they tended to look away a lot. Carl was starting to realize that no one really believed his story. They seemed to think he wore dresses because he liked it. Well, if this had happened to someone else, Carl probably wouldn't have believed it either. Lunchtime came, and Carl had to borrow some money from his secretary, since he'd forgotten his wallet. He ate lunch in his office. He tried to hold it in, but by mid-afternoon he had to go to the men's room. He headed out of his office, and they were all there waiting for him. It would be fair to say that Carl was not well liked by most of the junior associates. He's been known to bully and harass them, and had even called one of them a faggot because of his longish hair. So when he headed to the men's room, they were waiting, and the hooting and the catcalling and the whistling began immediately. Names like pansy and sissy and fag were heard. Carl kept his eyes averted, and did his best not to give them any reaction. When he walked past them, one of them grabbed his skirt and hiked it up above his waist. Everyone got a view of his lacy pink slip, and they all laughed. Carl pulled his skirt back down and moved away as quickly as possible. Someone snapped his bra strap, and someone else grabbed his butt and pawed his fake breasts. Carl wanted to hit one of them, but they'd have a perfect case for assault. He just looked away and tried not to react. But he was taking names, and he promised himself all they'd be sorry as soon as he was back in pants. He went into the men's room, and all the guys looked over the top of the stall to see what it looked like when a man in a dress took a pee. He got back to his office and hid for the rest of the day until Gloria came to pick him up. When they got home, Carl got a look at his new clothes, and groaned. He examined his new purses. "Who are these for?" "For you, of course." "I'm not carrying a purse." "Excuse me?" "I'm not carrying a purse." "Carl, you're dressed like a woman from head to toe. Why in the world wouldn't you carry a purse? What do you expect to do, carry your wallet around in your teeth all day?" "Fine. Whatever. I'll carry a purse." "You win." "You win, again." They sat down to dinner in silence, and after dinner Gloria informed him that he would have to model some of his dresses for her so she could make some alterations. Some of his dresses needed to be taken in a little. "Whatever," he said. He slipped into one of his pretty silk dresses, a gleaming sheath in a colorful floral print of red and yellow and orange. He wore his white slip, and since his dress was mostly red, his wife told him to wear his red pumps. He stood on a footstool so his wife could pin up his dress. "They're taking all my cases away from me," he said. "I've been working on some of them for over a year. Now someone else will get all the credit for all my hard work. I'm going to be a glorified paralegal." "You shouldn't let them do that to you," she said. "You should walk right into George's office and have it out with him, man to man." "Oh, wait, I forgot. You can't, one of you wears dresses." She giggled. He stared at her. "Why do you have to make fun of me?" he asked. "Isn't it enough you're making me wear dresses and lipstick and pantyhose 24 hours a day?" "Oh, you don't have it so bad." I hope someday someone humiliates you like you've done to me. And I hope I'm there to see it. He modeled several other dresses for her, then changed back into the dress he'd worn to work, and they went to bed. They established their pattern over the next week. He would get up and change into the same black slip and blue polyester dress and black heels, and take a shower. She would pick out some lingerie for him and leave it in the bathroom for him to change into, then pick out one of his dresses for him to wear. He said he didn't care which dress he wore. He was going to look ridiculous whatever he put on. A dress is a dress, he said. Then he'd dry off and change his lingerie, shave, and let his wife change his makeup. His wife put his serape around his shoulders while he shaved. He'd put on a different wig, let his wife choose his jewelry, then he'd wrap the blanket around himself and go out to the car. They never bothered to eat breakfast. The humiliation at work kept getting worse, not better. His tormentors were there every morning to ridicule him on his way to the office. There seemed to be getting more of them every day. Many of them were taking photographs. He still wasn't used to wearing dresses, still trying to put his hands in non-existent pockets. Women at work seemed to realize that it hurt his feelings to be laughed at, so when they had to talk to him about something they tried not to laugh at him. Sometimes they'd get all the way through the discussion without laughing, but then he'd do something without thinking, and they'd burst into laughter. He'd look at them, wondering what he'd done, then realized that, without even thinking, he'd reached over to adjust a bra strap. Tuesday she had him wear his low-cut gleaming gold satin sheath with his black high heels. His dress had long sleeves, it was belted, and it had a peplum. At dinner that evening, she complained about the way he sat down. She said he was wrinkling his dress. Wrinkling it? I have to sleep in it, he said. I have to dress like a girl to stop this bone-crushing pain, but no one ever said I had to act like one. I'm still going to sit like a man. I'm going to walk like a man and talk like a man and do everything like a man. I'm still a real man inside, even if I have to wear high heels and pantyhose and a dress and a slip. I drink beer, I watch sports, I belch, I scratch, I work on my car, and I'm still the same man I always was, even if I wear dresses. These are just clothes. They don't change who I am inside. That's a really good speech, she said. You should tell that to your buddies when they come over for poker tomorrow night. She laughed at his shocked and panicked expression. Even in his 3-inch pumps he was a blur of gold satin as he rushed to the phone to call his buddies. Hello, Benny. Yeah, I'm still sick. Don't come over for poker tomorrow night. No, I do not sound like I'm getting better. She laughed again as he got off the phone. Why didn't you remind me about tomorrow night? I thought I just did. I love how you keep wanting to have it both ways, Carl. You're still a real man, but you don't have enough courage to let your buddies see you in your pretty dresses, and you hide under a blanket on the way to work and cower in your pantyhose. Why is it such a big deal for you to sit like a woman? Look at yourself, Carl. You wear a dress every single hour of every day of your life. You put on a dress to go to work, you sleep in a dress, you even wear a dress in the shower, for Pete's sake. You dress like a woman, why can't you start acting like one? If you made your movements a little bit more feminine, people wouldn't laugh at you so much, and you'd get along a lot better. Carl said nothing, just sat down without tucking his skirt under him, and started eating dinner. Wednesday Gloria had him wear his clingy gleaming fuchsia silk sheath, with black spike heels. His dress had long sleeves, a draped neckline, shoulder pads, a natural waist and a tight skirt that came to just above the knee. When he got to work, He walked down the hallway past a woman named Debbie, who was going the other way. Debbie and Carl were both wearing the same dress. They stopped and looked at each other. Same draped neckline, same shoulder pads, same long sleeves, same gleaming fuchsia silk, same tight skirt that came to just above the knee. They were even wearing the same black spike heels and tan-colored pantyhose. Only Debbie was a size 6, and Carl was not. And Debbie was blonde, and Carl was not. And Debbie was a woman, and Carl was not. Everyone else in the hallway noticed, and started laughing. Carl and Debbie both turned and walked away from each other, as quickly as possible. That's all for now. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Oh yes, please like and subscribe to my channel. And also share your feedback, it really means a lot to me.